They are actually pushing through. The supply chain that we have, the one we try supply chain, well, pharmacy. Later other professions start coming in. But when with the profession coming in, pharmacy still has a place of leadership within that sector. So let what you are passionate about motivate you. Make all the mistakes, because you make mistakes. Make all the mistakes. We all do. You find yourself in a place. The day you wake up and you don't feel like going to work, is the day you know you need a change. And that was what happened to me. In UPK, I woke up and I told myself, is it all about 1-3 times a day? Or take this with food and take this without food? Or you be in a place and after 20, I'll end with this story. After 2007. Anyway, talking about from school. So I saw that people were still creating pharmacy units that had windows. This small, that typical window where the client will not see your face, they will not see your legs, they will not know, they will only see this part of your body. And they were still creating such things. Where pharmacists did not have the opportunity to actually provide that stock.
So he was very, very persistent and he kept calling, sending messages and all of that in spite of my very tight schedule on Square. So, and again, I may not be able to speak to him because I will speak over thank you very much. That's one. Then I've listened to everyone here and I was wondering, do I still have anything else to say? Also that, and some of you will agree with me that in my lecture, I always devote at least 5 minutes or sometimes 10 minutes to talk about issues around it. Based on my own experiences too, right? When we graduated, we were a team. Right? I'm a young grandfather, right? Young grandfather in the sense that people that have taught are also become professors, and the those ones are also almost being professors. So when you start giving birth early, you become a young grandfather, and a young academic grandfather. So the ceremony of the things that, so you already also know that, in the class, I often make reference to some of these issues. Unlike what my co-panelists said that they had to move from one sector to the other, I didn't move out of academia, but within academia, I was in touch with every aspect of pharmacy practice and as well as public health. also I've had experiences in all of that. So on the basis of that, when I teach, and I realize that it's not the DYDX, it's not area under the curve, they are important, but in real practical way solution, you need more than that, So that's why I always spend a few minutes to talk about that, and I'm sure the very smart one will pick things from there. Yes, so what will keep you moving, right? The motivation and all of that. There's so many of those things. Yes, you can envision the end from the beginning, right? When I came into the academia, I knew I would be a professor. So I focused on that, right? So everything I was doing was geared towards becoming a professor, and by the grace of God, I became a professor in 2014. So, and I also knew that I wanted to be a professor with a difference, right? So, in the course of my journey, I had encounter with people that shaped my destiny, right? When I was doing my PhD, I had to travel to Ibadan. They had the Malaria Research Center that was funded by the World Health Organization. Through contact, I was admitted into that circle. And I was part of the team, also part of the spirit, but more of experiential, agriculture, falciparum. I did my PhD in malaria and pregnancy and other children. So that kind of like gave me a different perspective, and I saw that in Ibadan, their style of academics slightly different from that of Uniben. Whereas Uniben at that time was mostly undergraduate focused, teaching students, getting them graduates, and all of that. But I noticed that in Ibadan, more of postgraduate, a lot of emphasis on postgraduate study. And I also noticed the team I was working with, they were more interested outside than within Nigeria, getting grants, getting all of those ones. So I spent a couple of weeks there. When I came back, and I knew that, it's different perspective. So then, of course, coupled with that is that, as some of you may know something, I'm a very restless person. When I mean restless is that if I am in a place, nothing is happening, I'll create something for myself. So unlike my brothers who decided to leave, that I will not leave and leave now, because that's kind of redundancy you can also find in academia, and it's very easy to fall into that. Just can't teach, gather students, talk to them, grade from grant, and it's just go on. Before you know it, you're 30 years, just like I'm 30 years in teaching in the university. So I got a kind of, because of my PhD, and I had contact with literally who is who in malaria research around the world, including Professor White, who is considered as one of the big logs of malaria studies. So all the tropical institutes in Europe, America, basically Europe, I was in contact with them. And at the time I was graduating from my PhD, I brought investigators from London and had collaboration. We're working on several projects, that one lasted and So these are some of the things, I don't know if I've mentioned this to you before, but some of the things. So you have to be restless, right? Even when I ventured out of academia, I was in the development sector, and I'm sure because we were the one that set up LNCU across the whole country, and strengthening supply chain across the country, and talk with all the 37 ministry of heads, with funding from the global fund and all of that, huge funding, we do a lot of those ones. So I created a conference called the AHD conference that brought the founders from Geneva to Nigeria, and even brought my PPC here to Abuja. And the Minister of Health, former minister at that time, Professor Adewale, was very present to declare the meeting open. And after that meeting was like, every development sector agency wanted to talk with me, wanted to, some would go into the corner, do you have a company who can give you a project? Because, some of those things today. So, if you're restless like me, that is, don't ever take, and so we see nothing else I can do, right? You are likely to achieve your goal. And again, secondly, if you put if your focus is on the end result, right? Whether in community pharmacy, industrial pharmacy, academia, regulatory, and all that, you will also achieve all that. We can achieve a lot. Human beings, we actually don't know the capacity that we have until we begin to apply ourselves. I tell you understand. If you want to learn about engineering, even though you're a pharmacist, and you put that as a project and give yourself 6 more, 1 year or 2 years learning, and be very consistent, you'll be surprised that at the end of that period, you will be talking to the latest, even more than the professor in that area. So sometimes we think that if we stretch ourselves so much, that we're going to break down. No, I can tell you that even as of now, most time I wake up 2 a.m. I sleep around 9 a.m. and wake up 2 a.m. Sometimes 1, I go sometimes 3 a.m. And I walk around the clock. Regarding whether I mentioned that, people say, wow, professor, you achieved, do you still keep away? Yes, because I still work. Last night,
so we're not spending. Food was very cheap. In fact, every evening what we use as our dinner is full chicken. As that time was 300 naira. For a full roasted full chicken. That's how we do it. So, but we also saw that there can be a limitation. Some of us decided to also come back. So location depends on what you want to do. On your own, look at what may limit you. If you feel that your immediate environment may limit you because of the people you know, try to change location. And even inside the community pharmacy, I tell people, sometimes you don't even have to move away where you not the community pharmacies. If you feel you get a location close to where you have community pharmacies, go and get a location there. Because some of the notion that there will be higher competition may not hold. You see now, there are a lot of pharmacies maybe on Bowo. There are a lot on Sapley Road. But sometimes some of them may still sell more than maybe another person in another location. Because when you ask maybe for drugs in Bowo, you don't find it, the next thing they will tell you is go to Sapley Road. Because it's more like it's now market. So people want to go to where they are sure they must get what they are looking for. But besides that, there are some persons that are also some remote places. There's a pharmacy, county care. Went to play upper mission that is relatively remote as at the time he started. But the good thing was he continued to be there. He may not attend a lot of meetings, but he was there for his patient. Anytime you come, he's there. Anytime he's come, he's there. So the next thing, people now saw him as their doctor. And before you know it, he has also already built an empire there. So the location depends on what you want to make out of it. If you're the lazy person that is looking for an already made location, even when you get there, you won't do well. But if you know that in that location, you will make reasonable contributions, you will do well. I also tell people, even if it's a supermarket you want to establish, you can go near Hallmark, you can go near shopping.